Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Zebra Report. Okay, this week I want to talk about 5 things that you should be tracking and then giving to your clients, or at least having that information so that your clients have that to make a good buying and selling decision. So first and foremost, it doesn't matter what market I'm in, there are 5 things that are critical to track, and they have to do with things like the pace of the market, what the market is willing to pay in that market, how that market has changed year after year, year over year, and most importantly, what is the relationship between the buyers that are out there and the sellers that are out there, because that ratio is really important. So I'm going to go through them one by one. The first and most important thing that I always track is I track inventory. So I want to track listings, and I look at what is the pace of new listings that come on the market each week. So basically I will see year over year, you can see those numbers, week over week you can see those numbers, but I track new listings all the time. And the reason I do that is because it will show you a trend in your area. So for example, if I even go back 3 years and I look at our listings week over week, and you see that over that 52-week period, and you look at that over a 3-year period, you start to see that, wow, inventory is on a steady decline. Then you have to ask the question, why? Well, in many areas, it's because of a lack of new construction. So that's obvious. But what happens when all of a sudden you have something like COVID? Well, the reason it's even more important than ever to track new listings is because you get to see what is going on with sellers, the mindset of the sellers. So right now, there's 3 things going on. One, many sellers are just waiting and wondering what they should do, so they're not taking a lot of action. So what that does is that decreases the number of listings because they're not in the market. Then we have builders that are not building and they're not in the market. So that, again, a lack of new construction. But then you also have those sellers that were getting ready to sell, were convinced that they were going to sell and buy something else. And instead, they've decided to refinance instead. So the reason why I track listings and why that's so important is because it gives you a really good understanding about what can happen in the market. Because if you have a sudden decline in listings, no matter where your pending numbers are, those pending numbers will be affected by that. So I always track new listings, that's critical. The next thing I look at is what is the median sale price, and I like to look at month over month, year over year, and watch and see what's happening with that median sale price. If a market appears to be declining, but the house prices are not, and that median sale price number is not declining, it's staying the same, or it's going higher, that's a clear indication that that market is having inventory challenges, because if there's a lack of supply, that drives the price up. So that's why it's really interesting. I've seen people say, wait a minute, the listings in this market area are declining, that must mean the market's not good. But regardless as to what's happening with the listings, and even with your pending numbers, median sale price is critical to watch, because if prices continue to be driven up, it's because of a demand. The next thing we have to look at is time on the market. How long are homes taking to sell? Is that days on market number increasing? Is it decreasing? What's really interesting is that even during the COVID pandemic, where you would think that those days on market numbers would be increasing, in fact, in many price points, many areas, that days on market number is going down because the demand is so strong. The other thing that we have to look at is we have to look at the relationship between our active listings and our pendings. That's going to tell us exactly what our supply and demand is. And of course, the closer those 2 numbers meet, that means the stronger the demand. The further those numbers are apart, that means less demand. In many areas right now, even in spite of what's happening with COVID and with the unemployment rate and with the economy and with the consumer concern, we are seeing sometimes our pending numbers are exceeding our listing numbers, which means that that demand is so strong that that is driving those prices up. The next thing I like to look at is I like to look at the relationship between the list price of the property and the sale price of the property. And why that is so important is because that list price to sale price ratio, what that does is that tells us how eager the buyers are and how willing the buyers are to pay perhaps above the asking price. So it's really important to be able to utilize those numbers to see what the trends are, to see what the motivation of the buyers are. If the motivation of the buyer is high, they're going to pay a high ask price. They're just going to do it. That's what will happen. So the one thing that's important right now is that your clients need to hear from you. They need to understand that it's not all gloom and doom. They need to understand that perhaps in their area, there are fantastic opportunities for selling, also for buying. Every situation is different and is unique. But the one thing I will tell you is that all clients appreciate good data, good information. I think it's critically important right now, more so than ever before, for you to really step up, get out there, look at the numbers, get into your MLS and know what the market's doing, and then convey that to your clients, because nothing is as powerful as the data that we have right now. The reason I love it so much is because it has helped me be able to show my clients and teach my clients that in their market area right now, the market is robust and strong. And when a client contacts me and says, listen, I'm slow right now, that might represent that they're slow or that their business is slow, but it does not necessarily mean that the corresponding market is slow. So please use this data, get out there, do your numbers, and connect with your clients. Take the data that you find, the research, and bring it to life by using a great example for your client. And that could be something as simple as letting a seller know, or a client of yours know that was thinking of selling, why now could be such a good time to sell. Show them the numbers. Show them that sellers in their area right now are getting above list price. So you can use each of these 5 different categories as a tool and a way to really bring that information to life and get that out to your clients. So, okay, guys, until next week, please be safe out there, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.